Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the FB4 Daily. It is Thursday night. There's 3 days to go until Liverpool go to Old Trafford, dismantle Manchester United, walk away 9 from 9, 27 points, untouchable, just probably about 24 hours after Man City go down 2-1 at Crystal Palace. At least that's how I see it going, that's being honest with you. This show, of course, is brought to you by Paddy, a bookies, an app, a website. Odds on Liverpool, odds on specials on Liverpool, courtesy of the LSC Day Trippers, odds on sport, odds on everything else. If you gamble, please gamble responsibly and do so with Paddy Power. Tonight, my guest is my good friend Keith Cross. Keith, how are you, my man?
Mystic Gav, I'm doing fantastic.
I was really mystic. I wouldn't say mystic. I'd say something along the lines of extremely optimistic. I think that's a fair one.
I feel the optimism going through those waves right now, baby. That's good energy. That's the energy our boys need.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I might ring them and tell them that I have this energy and do they fancy some of it, and I can do it at a knockdown price.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the way we're going to go tonight, Keith, is we are going to we're just going to play it by ear tonight. We're going to just see what people come up with. They come up with random stuff. They come up with football stuff. They come up with Liverpool stuff. And in between, we'll fill it in with talk of Liverpool versus Manchester United, because that's all anybody's talking about, to be perfectly honest with you. But first of all, Keith, there's 3 days to go until the match, before people get in and start bombarding us with stuff. There's 3 days to go before the game. How excited are you? Are you the type that gets excited over this stuff? Are you just the type that gets nervous over it? A bit apprehensive, a bit uptight? You know, when the girlfriend asks you to empty the dishwasher, do you lose the plot? You know, what way do you go on?
I've got a great story of how Liverpool versus Manchester United sits long in the family tradition. So 1996 was my probably first memory of heartbreak in football, and it was when Eric Cantona scored the winning goal in the FA Cup final. So angry was my dad that he went to bed early. He went to bed once the game was finished. Couldn't handle it anymore. He was so gutted. He was so emotionally invested that we're going to win the FA Cup. Manchester United, biggest rivals, and we lost. And that's the first ever time of heartbreak. So this game gives me butterflies. It doesn't matter whether we're doing well. It doesn't matter whether they're doing well. It always seems to have a game that, you know, the cliche form, the form book goes out the window.
Oh yeah,
this is definitely one of those. This is definitely one of those games. You know, there's been times when we've been hitting the dumps and Manchester United have been soaring, and yet we managed to get a result or put up a performance, a la John Arne Riise at Anfield. Beating them in the League Cup during their heyday with the likes of Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, you know, Michael Owen, let's never forget that, won the Worthington Cup, and that was the first time we actually had an opportunity to knock them off their perch, even ever so slightly. And now the tables have turned. Now we're the guys in the ascendancy. We're the team that's in fashion. We're the team that everybody wants to like, and, you know, they eulogize over our players. And on a worldwide spectrum now, Liverpool are that club that Manchester United once were. But that's not to suggest that Man United don't have the players on their day to cause an upset, if you will. And that's what makes this game so amazing.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It's one where, you know what, it's probably the only game, the only two fixtures of the season is United away and United at home, where I will actively try and sit at home and watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Part of me is just like, it's so intense that I have to be kind of in some sort of comfort zone for it. And the other thing is, it can bring out the worst in people on both sides when you're out and watching it. That's just my opinion on it as well. But it's definitely one where I'm kind of confident through the week. It might get to Saturday and I'll get a bit apprehensive. Oh, what if this? What if that? Then Sunday morning will come and that apprehension will start to drift away, and then I'm just like a caged animal come 4 o'clock,
Yeah.
waiting for this all to start. That's the way I am with it. We've been discussing all week about United and Liverpool. We've touched on United's problems. We've touched on Liverpool's strengths. We've touched on the whole structure of Manchester United, because it's there to be spoken about. I was speaking to somebody today that watches the pod every night, and he said, geez, you're talking an awful lot about Manchester United. I says, well, look, when Liverpool are this good, all you can say is they're really, really good. It's up to United to break normality. Let's be honest about it. You know that kind of way. It's up to United to break what people believe is just the norm. I've listened to the Cop Table podcast just now, and the Man United fan put it. He said, "You just know when Liverpool go on the pitch, they're going to perform." So the main talking point is, who have United got missing? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ed Woodward, the Glazers, the structure. It goes on like that. So it's just one of those that always interests me every time it comes up. Maverick says it's going to be scrappy and boring, but the only thing that matters is we take 3 points and move on. Northred says, I hate them, I loathe them, I detest them. Did I mention this? I fucking hate them. Yeah.
That's my friend. I felt that.
Yeah. It's better than the one last night where the guy literally typed out something and it was like a tongue twister, and I was reading it going, am I in a parallel universe reading this? It was mental. It was all about they know what we are and they are, and it was all over the shop. Kev O'Sullivan says, if you start getting apprehensive, look at their starting lineup. Unless they can counter, they've nothing else. John Mallon has... Go on.
Yeah, no, I'll take that point. I mean, let's look at what they did. Obviously, if to a weaker, Chelsea, but they did prove that if they get their counter attacks right, then they'll be on form. But look, without Paul Pogba, I don't even think they can execute that. I think that's a huge. Like, it was like back in the day when Wayne Rooney used to get injured before the Man United games, or they would come in with a few injuries. I think that's a massive win for Liverpool, because Paul Pogba would have kept us and Jurgen Klopp on his toes. Klopp would have been thinking about him a lot. And the fact that he no longer has to consider him in his thoughts, it's given me a lot of confidence. I walk into this, are you seeing in the past, Gab, where I'm a bit respectful, like the whole Leicester, where I was like, it could be a draw the last time that we spoke. And I got hammered on Twitter because, people were saying, no, this is Liverpool, we win every game, etc., which I agree with. We are at the top of the ascendancy. Had Paul Pogba been playing, I would have been a bit cautious. Now that Paul Pogba's not playing, I think this is going to be a real statement. Big statement victory.
Look, I'm behind you. I've said 3-1 all week. I've said 3-1. I've probably said it since the day after the Leicester game. I just have a feeling that Liverpool will have too much of them. United being the home side, they may score. They may do. They might have a 20-minute spell, but I'll go with 3-1. I just think we'll have too much of them. I think we can go through the gears. I think if we're both playing, if United are playing at the best and we're playing at 70%, it'll be a tight game. And then if we go up a gear or two, I think we win it. As this show is the Fatback 4 Daily, and we always encourage random stuff. John Mallon on YouTube asks, what's your order at Greg's?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to go against the norm. They do a wicked prawn baguette.
Okay.
The best prawn baguette you will ever have anywhere. Doesn't matter where you go, whatever shop, even sandwich makers, you can go to the finest and diners. Greg's prawn baguettes are the best sandwich ever.
Right,
so tasty.
Prawn baguette. I'm going to be honest, I genuinely wasn't expecting that. So
I told you that was against the norm completely.
Well, Greg's is in England, it's not in Ireland. But I will say, well, when I go to Liverpool, Greg's always gets a look in at some stage during the day, whether that be the morning when you arrive or when you're having a few drinks and you just happen to be walking to the next pub and you spot a Greg's and you think, oh, yes, pastry sausage rolls, that's definitely one for me. But just on Liverpool, Shiraz on North John Street for the full English breakfast is the best. Just to go off topic a little bit, it's absolutely amazing. And I once seen a friend of mine burst out laughing and forget that he had a massive lump of black pudding in his mouth and sprayed it all over the other friend that was sitting beside me. And it was absolutely one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So,
That's hilarious.
yeah, no, it was unbelievable. He went to laugh. You know when you go to laugh and you try to stop yourself, a little bit like when you try to sneeze, and it just came out and went all over this guy. And I was sitting beside him, and myself and Ray Brady, we went literally crying with laughter. So Shiraz is a brilliant full English breakfast, but the memories, it's all about the memories. But in Greg's, it's definitely pastry sausage rolls, absolutely is. But
I love how one thing I'll say about Greg's, I love how the North and Yorkshire in particular, going up from like Leeds to Newcastle, where you see how serious Greg's is taken. Like in London, Greg's is, you've got your nice Greg's shops that you go in and get your stuff. When you go further up north, that's when they become a restaurant. That is when there's seats. That is when there's a big space for you to go there and truly dine. So big up the North. They really showed me something. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
when it came to Greg's.
Greg's is huge, and usually they tuck themselves right in beside the bookmakers, which is an amazing feat.
That's incredible.
For some reason, I don't know. Let me see. Maverick says any pies are good. You see, the reason I want random questions tonight is because I spoke to Keith earlier on, and I said, Keith, tell you what, why don't you come on the Fatback 4, the main Fatback 4 show on a Sunday night on the regular with us? So he went, yeah, absolutely, I will do that, because he knows Matt well, he knows Grizz well, he knows me well. And we said, come on regular. And this is like his initiation, where he just gets random shit thrown at him and he answers it. And then we just know when Sunday comes, whether we're talking about camels the size of double deckers or whether we're talking about Grizz loving diets but not actually doing them. Key to be well up to speed. Maverick asks, Maverick asks, how many kippers could you eat for breakfast?
Oh, wow. Strong.
I'm going to say 0. Don't eat them.
See, I like fish. It's a strong fish, Maverick. That's a strong bad boy. But you know what? If it was offered to me, I'd have 3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Call me Aquaman. I love my fish.
Okay.
Love it.
Right. Well, I the question on the Fatback 4 Daily to every guest is a special question, and I will give it to you before the end of the show. All right.
I can't wait.
Notred says, I'm sure this has been mentioned before, but does Brexit affect European football or transfers, etc.? Keith, do you know if Brexit affects European football or transfers? Because, freedom of movement and all that. Will you need a visa to come into England and play is probably the question.
To be honest, I wouldn't know the ins and outs. The one thing that I will categorically think is going to be the case is it's going to be a relaxed law. Brexit, regardless of how they posture in person when it comes to immigration, they're not going to turn around and affect any transfer or money transfers going in between European clubs. I'm pretty sure that will pretty much remain untouched. They might introduce kind of their own rules and regulations, but I don't think it's going to hinder and change much with regards to the relationship with Europe. As I said, I've always believed that this is more of a ploy to get out of laws as opposed to economic blockading. I think because European football is too big, it's too huge. It's too much of a moneymaker for a party. Well, parties and people who are posturing for breakfast, they all care about the economic side of anything. So, yeah, I can't see it having a massive impact at all.
Yeah, I can't see it either. But, I think this might have been brought up by the fact, Alan, the Liverpool player that's never played for Liverpool, can't get a work permit, and people believe that he will absolutely get nowhere near a work permit come when Brexit happens. That's if Brexit happens. That Mongo fucking Johnson is wandering around saying he has a deal. The DUP are saying that they're not going to back the deal. Labour forget that they're a political party. The Irish are just going, listen, do what you fucking want, but you're not making a border in our country. Which, listen, up the Irish and all that. We're standing up for our rights, and that's the way it goes.
It's at least someone has to, because someone has to. At the end of the day, this is something that's impacting everybody's lives, and the only one true thing that anybody understands or feels passionate about at the moment is the Irish border.
Yeah.
We're not even speaking about any of the other
Well, you see,
implications.
the problem with the Irish border is it puts the Good Friday Agreement under threat. And I'm not going into Brexit.
True.
I'm not going into Brexit. And the troubles people have had up in Northern Ireland, and whether you back the fact of a united Ireland or you back the fact that it stays with Britain, the likes of borders and hard borders coming back in just literally goes. It shouldn't even be in the discussion, to be perfectly honest with you. But back to football, I agree with you. I don't see where Britain can turn around and go, no, you can't come in. It just won't happen. I can't see it happening. Somebody asked there, Skipper Dog asks, I think he said white or red apples. I'm presuming he means white, green apples, is it? Green and red apples.
Might need to get that eyesight checked, I think,
Yeah. But I'm going to go with green, unless he believes an onion is a fucking apple. I don't know.
Ooh,
but
sure.
Green apples or red apples?
Green apples, I'm with you.
Yeah?
I'm with you, Gav, 100%. Yeah. I like the bittersweet.
Granny Smith's.
I love the bittersweet. Oh, yeah. A good crunch in a green apple. Ooh, yeah. If we're on the same page on that one. Reds, you can really pick a bad red from time to time. You can never go wrong with a green.
I find with the green, and my daughter taught me well when it comes to green apples. She said, don't eat green apples. Cut them up, slice them and eat them. And they're beautiful, but you can eat a red apple.
And if you really want to get even unhealthy with a green apple, cut it up and dip it in sugar.
Oh, Jesus.
And just dip it in sugar. The sour, sweet taste that goes together. Oh, wow. It's going to change your life.
Okay.
Probably for the worst if you do it too much. Too much sugar. But yeah, no, 100%. If you get a moment, you definitely try that, Gav. We'll come back on Sunday and let me know how you get on.
Yeah, I don't think I will. I have enough sugar in my diet as it is. I get Grizz to do it. Grizz will try on. Yeah, so keep those random questions coming in. Barry Carr reckons red apples are better because they make better cider. Yeah, Barry's Irish. You'd easily know that, wouldn't you? We mention apples and he says, oh, cider, straight away. Maverick says, forget the deal. It's all about the result of the vote on Saturday. The vote on Brexit, I can't see it being passed, and then we're all back to square one, and eventually Britain will vote again and then vote to remain in the EU. So that's how I feel it will go. Just back onto the football. I heard something on a podcast earlier I didn't hear it. I was watching the Cop Table podcast earlier, and I seen a comment come up in the chat, and it said that United's number 2 Romero may be carrying an injury as well.
Oh,
Have you heard this? And
no, I haven't.
There's a possibility that Lee Grant will play in goal for United at the weekend.
Lee Grant?
Yeah, Lee Grant, former Stoke keeper.
Didn't he play against us? Wasn't he in goal when we lost?
No, he was in goal. He was in goal when we beat them in America, going back the summer before last, I think.
Yes.
Shaqiri gets the overhead, if I remember rightly. I think he's ex-Stoke.
Yeah, he is ex-Stoke. I feel like Lee Grant was... No, okay. I'll be interested. I'll put that out there. No, Lee Grant was in goal when Liverpool won 3-0 against Stoke. Yeah, there we go. There's a little one for you. 2017. Mo Salah's already scored against him, so he'll do it again.
Oh, this is the one where Salah comes on and gets 2.
Yes, that's the one.
Mane dinks Lee Grant, and Firmino lets the ball roll over the line. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Barry Carr wants to know, what's the best takeaway item to reheat and eat the next day?
Oh, that's a great question.
I have an answer.
Yeah? Go on, you give me your answer.
Well, pizza is decent. I think it's decent. A Chinese is decent, but what I will say is, when I order Chinese, you get chips, you get curry sauce, you get whatever else with it. But I always find if you order an extra curry sauce with your Chinese, all right, leave it aside and leave all your bits of your Chinese separate on a plate. Heat it up the next morning, throw a little bit of water onto the curry sauce and store, and then heat. It's literally like having the Chinese from the night before.
Oof. I'm going to take you up on that.
It's cool. And then for dessert you can have apples absolutely drowned in sugar.
No, that sounds like a sugar rush waiting to happen. I'm gonna go with you again. Geez, we're getting along quite well tonight. But yeah, I'm gonna go with you as well with Chinese. So for me, how I like Chinese reheated is I get a pan, douse it in a bit of oil, and I'll just throw in the rice, the stir fry. Basically, what I like to do is I like to order Chinese. So I'm big lad. I'm about 6'4". I'm massive, and so I eat. So what I'll do is I'll get like a Chinese for like 3, and I'll basically make sure that there's some left over for the next day, and I'll just bang it all together in the pan, and I'll fry it up until it kind of gets a little bit crispy. Slap that down. It takes a little bit more work than the microwave, but that extra effort goes a long way. So yeah, next time you get Chinese, get a wok, put some oil in it, smash it all together, let it sizzle, and yeah, it's gonna taste as good as it did yesterday.
And it's decent for a hangover.
Yeah.
Maverick says, sorry, really quick one, yes or no on this one. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes, but my forefathers will kill me.
No for me. Fruit on a fucking pizza is an absolute, it's worse than Brexit. Kev O'Sullivan agrees with what he said, Chinese food. Maverick has a different slant on this. He says, best to reheat all of them. The question should be, what is the best to have next morning cold?
Pizza.
Pizza is the answer. It is the answer.
Easy.
It is the answer. It absolutely is. Although, with a hangover, you'd eat anything, wouldn't you? Yeah, absolutely.
But pizza, you could even have the pepperoni pizza, just congealed, just take that bite. It's just, it's got that little bit of sauce just there that survived over the night. That's what keeps it nice.
Yeah. Somebody said the product Sif, or Jif as it used to be known. Somebody says, is anybody upset that it could be changed back to its name? Can someone please get me that message and put it back up on the screen? It's after going off my feed here. But it was something to do with the household cleaner Sif, or Jif as it used to be known, JIF, before they changed it to CIF, Sif. Please, whoever put that comment in, put it back up because I want to read it. I just seen Sif and got really excited and then lost it off the screen. Maverick is going to educate us. He says, however, it's gone off my screen. Basically, green apples are more nutritional.
However, green ones are. I see it here. However, green ones are nutritionally better for you as they are strong juju, aka fennel, something that's super good. Granny Smith / Bramley are the best for this. Maverick, thank you very much. You'll become the FB4 Daily Wikipedia. I love that.
Okay,
legends.
Yeah. He says, yes for pineapple on a pizza. For me, says Maverick, you've got that job really quickly and then you've lost it really quickly by saying pineapple on a pizza. Kev O'Sullivan is absolutely disgusted with you. He also calls Skipper Dog a dirty animal. I think that's a bit aggressive, but listen, we'll move on and see how we get on. Keith, the game at the weekend. I'm trying. It's very hard. Do you know what? It's easier to try predict a United Liverpool game when both teams are kind of on the same level. One might be a bit off form, one might be a bit on form. One of those. It's harder when one. For me, it's harder when one team is clearly in the ascendancy. But is it hard for you to? Sorry, is there any way you can see Liverpool not winning this game at the weekend?
Oh, I think the only thing that will kill Liverpool themselves. It's there's two types of ways they could play this game. They could either play in kind of take the levers off and go full pelt, or they can just dissect them slowly and find the goal when it matters. It's all about control. And I think the one thing that Liverpool have been so good at over the past 18 months is controlling the game, dictating the tempo, and then scoring at will. I think sometimes, as amazing as our front three are, at times, our midfield and defence can only do so much. There's not a lot of creativity in those areas, and there's not a lot of goals in those areas. So that's got to come from Firmino, Salah, and Mane. So when the boys behind them are keeping the ball, moving it around, keeping their structure, avoiding counter-attacks, dealing with them, but then the front three then start missing chances, missing goals that you think they should score and having an off day, that's when they can that's when there's potential to invite a bit of pressure onto themselves. if the front three, they've proven it when they get off to a fiery start and they get a goal quite quickly in the game. We've blown teams away. We've blown the likes of, your Barcelonas. We've blown away Arsenal. We've blown away Chelsea. We've blown away big teams over the last 18 months because the front three have been like wired in, straight on it, ready to score goals. Well, Barcelona is probably a different case in point, but it's probably a slightly different case in point. But our boys were sharp in the finishing areas on that day as well. So yeah, it's us being, deadly, taking our chances and taking them when they come, because it's a massive ground. It's not a small place to go. It's steeped in history. There is still an allure of the crowd can drag you into a dogfight if you let them. So that's the only way I can see us really being dragged into a dogfight, which is exactly what Man United are going to want to take us into. And let's not forget, they do have players that can hurt us and have hurt us in the past. So yeah, we'd be the making of our own downfall. One of the things actually I wanted to ask you, Gav, kind of leading up to this game, a lot of Man United fans have targeted Trent Alexander-Arnold as not being a very good defender, and also relate to Harry Maguire being far more superior than Joel Matip. And I think that's interesting debates coming along, that they feel that that's the areas where they can hurt us in the counter-attack. Do you feel that Trent deserves the amount of stick he gets for his defensive contributions to Liverpool? Or are they right that could be a weakness going into the game?
No, I don't think so. Just before we go on, North Red is the man that mentioned it. He says, because of Brexit, SIF is going back to GIF and Snickers will now be called marathons again. Do we need this pressure in our lives? Yeah, it's a fair point. Kevin Sullivan says, if someone does something stupid and gets sent off, or if our mentality isn't right and we turn up taking the win for granted, I'll be sickened if we don't win this handy 3-0. Maverick wants to tear United up in the first 20 minutes. I want us to control them and show them who's boss. But going back to Trent, I'll be honest with you. I love Trent at right back. I genuinely do. I think I've said it numerous times. Liverpool have 5 attackers on the pitch, and it's the front three and the 2 fullbacks, and the midfield functions in a way to allow that to happen. So looking for goals from Liverpool's midfield as it functions right now can be a bit of a stretch at times, simply because of the jobs they're being asked to do in covering basically fullbacks that are more or less wide forwards, On Trent specifically, can be amazing most of the time going forward. He can be very, very good defensively most of the time. I did find last season at stages, like one game that stuck out for me was Fulham away, and he was extremely hesitant in everything he done. I don't know whether the occasion got to him. It was a pressure game. It was in around Patrick's Day, I think. Milner gets the late goal to win a 2-1, the late penalty. But that day I watched Trent and I felt he was hesitant. Instead of going into tackles, he was standing off. Instead of trying to intercept stuff, he was standing off. And he got exposed a little bit because of that. A few things have come up about Trent early in this season. But to be honest with you, if you look at the position Trent has, like, for argument's sake, the Newcastle game at home, they get a goal. Jethro Williams scores. And people have gone on about, Trent this, Trent that. Trent is where he's meant to be, close to his centre half, on the cover if needs be. The ball gets played out wide. Okay, he could probably show him down the line, but he's shown that guy onto his weak foot, thinking he won't do anything. He hits a wonder strike. But would I be worried if they targeted Trent? No, not really. No, not really, because I think Trent and Matip have developed a really good relationship there as to when Trent is that bit forward, where Matip should be. Instead of being too central, he's a little bit to the right-hand side. He's covering himself properly. A lot of the stuff with Trent is down to other players around him and the position they're in, because he's that licensed to go forward. I'd love, and I've said it, I'd love that Daniel James to have a run at Trent in the first 10 minutes and Trent to slap a tackle on him early. And basically go, no, not today, but it's not happening. You know what I mean? But no, I think people will look, and it's going to be emphasised simply because Andy Robertson and Virgil van Dijk have literally decided that the left-hand side of Liverpool's defence will never be breached. It's one of those. So you have to find somewhere to attack Keith. You can't go, oh, we can't go down the middle because Van Dijk's there, and we can't go down the left because Van Dijk's there, or we'll have to go down the right. And when you attack more down the right, if I attack you 10 times down your right-hand side, we're going to talk about that more than if I attack you once down the left and nothing happens. You know, so there has to be a talking point around Liverpool defensively somewhere. You know that way. You know what I mean? Unless Liverpool come out and literally hold 90% of the football on Sunday, United spend about 4% of the time in Liverpool's half, and Liverpool win the game 4-0, and we don't have to talk defensively whatsoever. No, like Not Red says, Trent's a year older and a year wiser. A year wiser, and he's a record breaker with regards to assists. Absolutely fair point. And you know what? You know the way Liverpool lost the European Cup, Keith, and then they went back and galvanised themselves to win it. That was huge for all the players in that squad. But you know something? Winning it, I think, is bigger than the time they lost it. Because when you lose something, you can galvanise yourself to go and win it again. When you win something, you are so sure in your belief of how good you are. And I think that's what you're starting to see with Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's one of the most underrated players in world football. You know, for me, you know, I believe that he was amongst the top players in general last season. You know, the amount of assists he created for Liverpool. You know,
I'm sure I'll get him back in 1 second. Let me see. No, his connection has gone. He will be back in a couple of minutes, though. Just give me 1 second, I'll get him back. But just running through some of the questions there. Some commentators were trying to make a case for Maguire ahead of Matip. I think they took him straight to hospital after that show. Daniel James is rapid, says Kev O'Sullivan. He will test anyone on that side, but nothing we've not come across before. Yeah, we've come across rapid players. It's dealing with them. He will be their outball, I feel, down that side. And not because he's against Trent. I think he'll be their outball regardless. He plays a lot on the right-hand side, though, Daniel James at times as well. Maverick says Trent has a very, very tough position, and he does it well. He's still improving. With Salah in front, it's always going to be targeted. Yeah, and that's where Jordan Henderson. That's where Jordan Henderson comes in. You know, he's Jordan Henderson comes in and he's basically protecting Trent Alexander-Arnold simply because Salah stays up the pitch. It's just one of those, you know. But look, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see.
Sorry, everybody.
You're okay, Keith.
I
went as well. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
They're back on there now. It's cool. Yeah, we're just talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold there. So yeah, like people are saying there, you know, he's so good. He's a year older. He plays a very tough position. You know, Henderson is trying to cover him because Salah's staying up the pitch. Different things like that. I'll put it to you this way. You've asked me the question. Are you worried over him at the weekend?
No, actually, I'm not. And I think he doesn't get enough credit for the defensive contributions he makes to the team. If there's one thing about Trent that I think he does time and time again, and I'll describe you the situation. So Wilfried Zaha's running kind of down the pitch. He's taken Robertson on. He's whipped in the ball. And, you know, it's about to, you know, Jordan Ayew's got a tap in. It's gone past Robertson. It's gone past Van Dijk. It's gone into the penalty box. And there's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Last-ditch block, last-ditch foot out, last-ditch tackle. How many times have we seen him do that in games? I literally, week in, week out, I feel like he protects his back four kind of like the last hurrah, particularly when balls are coming in from the wide. And I don't think he gets enough respect for some of it, you know, the defensive contribution he puts towards. Is he making 10 tackles a game like Wan-Bissaka? No. You know, a lot of the times maybe, you know, he's not as confident in slide tackles or making those pressing tackles as someone like Wan-Bissaka may be. But is he good generally at kind of keeping players in position and not getting beat on one-on-one situations? At times, yes. At times, no. Maybe that could be a little bit of a weakness of his. But I've never seen him as a liability when it comes to defending at right back, in the defensive phases. And I've seen him offer things that a lot of people don't give him credit for. So, I'm more than happy and confident that he offers enough at right back to earn his right to that position, and then what he offers going forward is just world class.
Yeah, he absolutely does, and I'm not worried about him. I really am. Keith, give me a prediction for Sunday.
I think it's going to be 4-0.
4-0.
4-0.
Fair enough.
4-0. And it's going to be a statement.
Okay, no worries. Let me see. 4-0. I have 3-1. I'm being honest with you. But look, the last question, Keith. The last question I have for you, and it is the question that everybody's asked on the FB4 Daily. I probably asked you before, but if I have, tell me. If I haven't, you have to answer it. You're on a building, Keith. Have I asked you this?
No.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Deadly. I'm delighted because I can't think of another question. So you're on a building. It's 50 stories high. Okay.
Yep.
It's a flat roof, a really flat roof, as flat as you can find. It's Anfield's pitch. That's how flat it is. Okay. It's in New York, so you know the way there's all these tall buildings. Okay. So there's another building that's 50 stories tall across from you. Okay, and flat building, and you know the way there's these alleyways in between the buildings. So you have to jump from one building to the other, basically. Now, you can have a good run at it, and there's an 11-mile-an-hour wind behind you, helping. Okay? How big could that gap be, and you would still make it across that jump? Good question, isn't it?
Wow. So it's 11 mile per hour wind behind me.
Yeah. So you have 11-mile-an-hour wind behind you. It's a flat roof, jumping to a flat roof, same height. And you have to pick the max distance between those buildings that you would jump successfully. Now, I will tell you, somebody has said 2 feet, somebody has said 4 feet, somebody has said 5 meters. And Trev Downey of former LFC Day Trippers fame, rest in peace, Trev, although he's on Anfield Index, he said he would just be about 1 millimeter short of the world long jump record. So, which is 8.96 meters, which is
8.96 meters.
Yeah, which is about 26 feet.
Gav, when it comes to gravity, it's never been my strong point.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably get as far as a meter.
3 feet.
3 feet. I'd say no. Sorry, did I say 3 feet? No, I meant How much is that? 3 feet.
3 feet. You could. So you're telling me if I gave you a big run, like, I'll put it to you this way: if I said to you, Keith, go out onto that football field over there, okay, and run for 30, 40 yards, and at the halfway line, or sorry, at the goal line, I want you to jump. You're telling me you wouldn't even make it 3 feet off your line?
Okay.
Like Stephen Hackett says 6 feet. Stephen, come on. It has to be more than 6 feet.
God, that's a tough. Well, I'm 6'4". So are you saying how far high I can jump, or how far I can jump?
How far can you jump? So look,
how far could I jump?
Look, I'll tell you what, right? You start at the Anfield Road end and run as fast as you can with 11 mile an hour behind you. And when you get to the halfway line, I want you to jump. Jump and see how far you can get before you land. There's no way it's only 3 feet.
Man, I'm a big lad.
Yeah, but look, come on.
I'd say at a push 5 feet.
5 feet.
5 feet. I'm going to go for 5 feet.
Right, okay. I'm disappointed, but look, I can't. I'm not going to try to change your mind, okay?
How much could you do?
I reckon I could do... I reckon about 9.5 feet.
So you
which
could
is
sail.
just over 3 meters. Andy did suggest, wearing a jacket, and when you jump, you put your jacket up over your head, and the
That's a
wind will
smart
carry
move.
you, that sort of thing. But Andy thought about it way, way, way too much. But look,
Deep. Yeah, I'm probably thinking about it from the fact that I don't, jumping far isn't built into me. So as far as I go up, as quick as I come down.
okay, so you're going for 5 feet. That's
I'm
not the
going for
worst guess
five
we've
feet.
had. It's not the smallest guess we've had. But look, we leave it there. We've done about 40 minutes, slightly interrupted because our signal went for a minute or so. We apologise for that. I will have to get the 2 videos now and amalgamate them together for the download tomorrow. So people that are listening to the download, I just hope you're grateful. I'm going to have to postpone watching Top Boy while I try edit this properly now after we
I love
finish.
that.
Yeah, I'm in the last series and it's really, really good. Keith, you will be back with us on Sunday, am I right?
I will be indeed.
Okay.
Hopefully with a victory in our